David Massa, Chao me conoció en el viaje de Ecuador. Tuvo muy hija de puta ese show, cabrón, de que demasiado cabrón.
Me porté bien.
Ah, pues sí, un santo de decir. Yo sé que Víctor, David, muérete, es tu onda, ¿verdad? Que
Sí, muérete.
nos tocaste con él en septiembre del año pasado. Con Reunited y hay otra bandita más, pero no me acuerdo si era 72 Legions, creo que fue.
Tu vídeo sí de verdad.
Exacto, eso fue con el show de Noel, Big shout out for him. Estuvo bien caro ese show, bueno, la primera vez que te veía ahí tocando, no había conocido de tu banda, Muérete, no sé qué tocaba también Convicted to Die, pero ¿verdad? Vamos a catch up a little bit, saber quiénes son ustedes. No sé qué tocamos en inglés, nos tocamos en inglés un poquito, Spanglish, vice versa, Spanglish, back and forth, sorry. So, Convicted to Die, 04, that's when it started, right?
Yeah.
Talk a little about that, how did it inspired, how did it started, what got you guys playing? I know that not all the members are original, but
Yeah.
you know, I think Sean and
Hermit.
Hermit.
Kind of original.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it started before 04, but the first official show was in 04.
was all
Yeah.
Yeah. I started in August 2003
2003.
when I got to college, and then lineup changed. I was about to give up. Then I contacted Lugo.
Kind of. Me and some friends were working on a black metal project.
Nice.
And we were all from Carolina. So he contacted our drummer because he needed a drummer. And then the other guitar player joined the band. And then we all started practicing together, and then the other guitar player wasn't like being responsible with the practice or anything, and then he stepped out, and then I stepped in. That's when it started. And then it was the drummer Steven, Ocean vocals, Carlos, I think.
Yeah, very good.
Was the other guitar player, and Victor, who used to be the vocalist for Outbreak 8, was the next player. I don't know if I'm still Yeah. And that was like the first or official lineup, because that was the lineup that played the first show.
The first show.
February 14, 2000.
And this was mostly because you guys were just enjoying the music. I know 2004 saw a lot of different vibes of music coming up with metalcore was rising up. I mean, you guys got that vibe. You know, you guys took it all the way.
The original plan was to be a metalcore band.
Metalcore.
Yeah, that's how it started.
Yeah.
Funny fact, I want to start a band. I saw in Victoria, Circle. What was the name of that venue? Yeah, Cafe.
Yeah, Cafe.
And Thrasher was handing out demos, and he threw one to the crowd and hit me right in the foot. And I just grabbed it, and I'm like, I'm the happiest person ever. I'm like, I need to make a band. I fell in love with them from the get-go.
So, in fact, Victoria was like one of the biggest influence for you guys. Right?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
for he was like,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
And not just like us, like young kids being like a fan of the band. Like later on, like, we became friends with them.
Yeah.
And they were always have our back. They were always supportive.
Yeah, backing you guys up.
Yeah. I'm a touch award when I did my apprenticeship in the shop that Thrasher used to pierce.
Shout out to Thrasher.
Yep.
Okay. I understand that Thrasher is one of the biggest influences here, you know, at least from the guys from the old school scene. He was one of the guys that brought Hoshan that's playing, you know, in this It's on Autopsy, exactly. And so, you know, I know he's been there in the local scene, inspiring a lot of guys. And you guys too, I imagine too.
Yeah.
So you guys look for up, so that inspiration, I think, is something, you know, it's awesome, because at least my generation right now, we're doing the same thing. Now I have my own band, and same way as you guys got inspired by local bands, it's the same way here. So it's something that comes up every time, you know, without the influence and generations. I know that you guys are rebuilding again the band. You guys are starting to play again. I see that you guys going to play in Florida.
Yep.
That's fucking cool. That is amazing. You know, something that
First show.
you know, for a first show coming up here in Puerto Rico, homeland.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about that? How does that feel?
It's
A lot of memories, I bet.
it's
Yes.
silent. It's
Everything has been like back and forth trips to that memory lane. It's like even before we started recording the interview, we were just talking about all the tales that we have. I don't know tomorrow the show is gonna be even.
Yeah, I met you guys.
it's gonna be emotional for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of friends that
It's
not
been
with us anymore, so we like it will be hard, but at the same time, it's like if it was a comeback, it's gonna be.
Definitely.
Yeah, he had to
that's
be
the number
here.
one.
Like he got contacted by someone like, are you booking shows? It's like not after
Yeah.
April.
Yeah. And I think it's cool because I was talking to Sean before, after FYA, and he's like, yo, you're going to see so many people you have never seen in your life, and it's true. And I've seen how much from the promo when it started over here, a lot of people coming up from the old school scene.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And tomorrow's going to be, like you guys said, emotional. It's going to be returning to the little memories like you guys were talking just a moment ago before the interview. I think that's, that's super cool. And, you guys deserve it. Keep going with this. And maybe you guys can keep going and get bigger and bigger again. Because you guys were really big here for RKC. I'm from younger generation. I got to see lots of, guys, music. I seen, even though you guys were not active, people do talk about you guys. You guys left something in the local scene of Puerto Rico, especially for the hardcore scene.
Yeah, well, we look back and we feel like we're a name that people knew, wasn't necessarily a name that people liked that much, because towards the last couple of months of the band back then, we started switching into the style that we're doing now, which is heavily influenced by bands like Record, the simpler side of It's Buried to Me.
Dance of the Dead.
Yeah, like let's not just do like metalcore where it's like a metal riff influenced like that, and then some breakdowns and hardcore influences. Let's actually have some brutal death influences, some black metal influences. And we feel like back then it was a mixture that not all our people were like ready to appreciate. Thrasher, going back to him, he always saw our vision and he always understood what we're trying to do, and he liked it. So that's why when we broke up, we did not feel like, people really appreciated what we were doing. But then when we announced the show, everybody started reaching out like, oh my God, we're gonna go back, we're gonna do that, definitely gonna see people that just didn't even see us then, but met us afterwards and heard the stories and everything. They're gonna go to the show too, to like kind of, I guess, witness what they missed back then.
No. I'm part of the story too, because if you guys think about it, tomorrow will be a new story for a lot of people like me. I never seen you guys play live, and I'm excited for that because, addition to that, at least me and my brother Derek, we do collect local memorabilia of old bands, and you guys, are part of that history too. So it's gonna be great. I'm excited for that for tomorrow. So I hope for that to, keep going up, and you guys can keep growing. Give me a little bit more of a, memories. Well, I was seeing a few memories of you guys, when you were playing here. Heard you guys were, big fights before, and
Some memories.
For
remembering
that was the tier memory for us.
the basement here in
Santurce, Santurce. Santurce.
next to Filipino.
What's the name of the venue?
It was called the basement.
The basement.
The basement.
Yeah.
Basically, you have to walk downstairs to get to the
Yeah,
It was a slow
literally
venue,
basement.
but it's tough here because
We had a lot of stories. There was a time where the power went out and we just hung out there, and like the bartenders just started giving us the beer. And we're like, okay, cool. Except this one, because I think you were already straight.
I was already straight edge. But that show, them being like one of the bigger influences
Good.
for music, lifestyle, because I became straight edge thanks to Impede lyrics. So opening for them was like, for me, it's always been a highlight.
I mean, we both have the room very much look.
Nice.
So,
As minutes.
yeah, that's a very influential book. For
So
us.
that we opened for Walking the Vacancy.
That just reunited too.
Yeah.
They just got back together and they're playing. They're from New York. And they came here and we opened for them. I think we opened for Horse the Band.
Yeah, we opened the Horse Event and
Full Blown Chaos.
Full Chaos.
This was here in Puerto Rico?
All here.
Full Blown Chaos in Curabo, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Horse the Band, we opened for the show.
someone chopped up
Someone shut up. Yeah.
when they had the gas outage, whatever, the new gas.
Oh yeah, there was a strike. The truck drivers that drive the gas.
Oh, yeah.
So that was during that weekend, and they came here, and the strike ended like right after that show, because it was always two shows, one in the metropolitan area and one either south side or west side.
Yeah.
That one was supposed to be the west side, and we did not know how it was gonna go because nobody had gas. Like it takes a lot of gas to get there.
Yeah, definitely.
So it ended like an hour or two, like right after the show ended, the first show ended. So we all woke up, went to put some gas in the car. We're like, hopefully that'll be enough.
Yeah.
And someone broke a Nintendo in someone's head.
Let's talk about that.
He was messing with the wrong people.
Yeah, and he broke.
I got tired of it.
for shits and giggles.
This was on the show?
Yeah.
Horse the band.
Show playing?
Yeah.
They're known for being quote unquote Nintendo core.
Nintendo, yeah.
So he brought Nintendo and put it in the middle of the pit. People were just dancing around it, having fun and whatnot. And this guy, who I guess he wasn't a regular on the scene, was like somehow being a dick to people. And things started getting rough, and I don't know where somebody, I'm not gonna mention him, comes out running with the Nintendo and slams the guy's head.
It's over. That's it.
Yeah, that ended the show for him.
that for sure did end.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool. And I was hearing out, my dad used to play a lot of the local scene, the metal scene, not the hardcore scene. But talking to other guys, and they always told me that hardcore here in Puerto Rico, at least, you guys were in the peak, where people just, crowd killing, doing two-step. There were just a lot of dancing. Now, our generation, at least now, is very different. There's not a lot of crowd killing versus, when we go to U.S. stores and U.S. shows, a lot of people are just doing whatever they want. Here's a little bit more control.
Yeah.
Seeing that aspect, what do you guys think and how do you feel, or that evolution here in Puerto Rico that you guys don't see that anymore? That, do you guys see that affecting you guys? Like, you don't feel that same vibe? Just, I don't know if you guys got my idea of it, like.
I mean, to see how it is now, we'll have to see, like, because we haven't gone to a show here.
Right, you guys all live in
Florida.
Yeah, so
Jersey and Florida as well.
Okay, so it's gonna be a little bit different. I know Victor, you were playing in that recently.
Yeah.
So you do have a more of an idea of it. Yeah, a lot of people like to dance. I see them a lot dancing, but nothing like big enough to say, hey, it's
No, like that.
no.
And I just think that there's a lot of like old school people are gonna be at that show.
Definitely.
So probably the vibe's gonna be different.
Definitely.
Like it's gonna be a highlight show because in Victoria's, of course, the last show Bajo Presión, and then it's gonna be a different type of crowd, I would say.
Yeah.
So
It's gonna be mixed.
hopefully it gets a little bit crazy in there.
Let's hope so. I'm excited for that. So,
Yeah.
And the whole crowd killing thing also, it kind of started after some people, so we don't like to call ourselves old school, but like, I guess people up to like the generation that came before us.
Yeah.
And when their generation, our generation started traveling to go like festivals like Hellfest, now we went to the last Hellfest in 2004, where we saw the crowd killing, where we saw all that shit.
Yeah, I see videos.
And then when we came back, and then we started doing it the way we saw it there, I feel like that is when the whole vibe started to like pick up and get like a little bit more like that it was back then. But then we all stopped going to shows.
Yeah, everyone got old.
Yeah.
And I think that's, that influenced a lot because I'm a personally that I've gone to shows outside. It does influence in what you're going to do live.
Mm-hmm.
So, seeing that aspect, it makes sense. You want to bring that back home. I want people to see what we saw over there. Let's try to make it happen here.
Yeah.
So, I was talking to a few guys that are my same age and like, I wish there was like old school days, like people will crowd kill and they would, do everything on the pit. Now people are just, a bunch of pussies. It's just called it that way. So it's like,
It's, I don't know, it's also, I think one thing that helps is if the show gets packed.
That's true too.
Rarely happens.
That's true too. Yeah.
Because here, the only time I ever saw stage dive happening was when Dying Fetus played in Caguas.
Oh,
You're right.
What year was that?
It's up 2003. I did
3.
I think,
Yeah.
I
I think I was still in high school.
My first experience
Performing live
performing live
with the Victoria.
in Victoria.
Yeah.
So that was your debut in Rollworks.
Basically, it was a gimmick that they played out. That they were saying like Blackie was gone and I was gonna be the new one, so I just ended up playing the Sun Pride singing it, and out of nowhere I just flipped out and Blackie just picked up again. So it was in front of like what 600, 700 people.
Yeah, that's.
But I was like, thanks to them, dude. Like I said, I wasn't big to do. Like all like big brothers. Like Jaime used to pick me up from my house, and guys today I saw them because of them. They call me like, hey, you want to go? And they just pick me up at House North, Thrasher, all of them, Blackie. I'm something to like.
Yeah.
Always been like big brothers to me. So, but yeah, I appreciate the fuck out of them.
Yeah, but I showed that the only show I ever saw stage dive, and it was you actually. When you were done singing with the Victoria, you jumped off stage, and he actually did a stage dive. Only other time the band Outbreak was playing in Sopranos in Cataño. And for some reason that show was packed. A lot of people were there, and actually people were stage diving. Like that was the closest to that we saw to like what regular shows are.
Yeah.
Most of the time Because not always. There's sometimes they're like a little empty. But most of the time, there is a good amount of people where there's stage dive. There is a certain crowd movement, which is what I feel is the one thing that it will like here.
It's so different from the States who are over here. But let's say on the stage, you can be playing a blast beat and they will push. You playing anything and they will push.
Let's put it this way: you don't play anything, people will still dance.
Yeah, I'm telling you. My first experience,
Culture Shock.
Culture Shock, 2004, Hellfest. I was what?
You were 18, I was
I
17.
was 18, was 17.
Yeah.
We get there, dude. Prayer for Cleansing is the first band.
No. For the discipline.
Through the discipline.
Yeah.
They're playing in a venue, like it was a small area, and out of nowhere, they just turn on the amps, open port, and everyone, I'm not telling
The whole floor
started dancing.
Side
And
to
I
side, back
went
to
like
back.
this. Like, what do I do now? Like, I am not used to this.
We just have their backpacks for like, let's fucking go.
fucking much. So it's really different from.
Yeah, it was such an impactful thing to see and witness that the festival started at 11 a.m. By 12:30, we were already exhausted. We were like 17 and 18. But we were just like, okay, we're just going to make up for it for all this opportunity that we haven't had back home because shows are not always that packed. You know, it needs to be a big show for it to be.
And they're not a big fest, guys. Like to see, like, you get one band from the States flying down here. You don't get 5 or 6 or 7. I know it's expensive, but it's not the same.
Even with the local bands, Wild Fest with the Groupie Fest, that one was pretty crowded.
Yeah.
There was a fest one time in, I think it was Catgate, like in La Lechonera. One time, that one, it was empty. The bands played fucking fantastic. It was mostly metal, but it was empty. There was not that much people.
Also the division that grew later that, for example, if they could play a metal show, they play a hardcore show. Back in the day, you would mix bands. That died. Bar is coming back. I've seen a few things, but they start splitting up. Like the hardcore scene has to be, and that's like because the metal kids got pissed off. The hardcores are hate moshing. So it was just like that division.
It wasn't even head moshing. It was just hardcore dancing.
It was just hardcore dancing
because it was like windmills and kicks during breakdowns, 2 steps during 2 step. Never a circle thing. And metalheads are used to the push moshing. So they hated the hardcore dancing, but the hardcore kids hated the push mosh, which was actually like in the Avery show.
Yeah.
That was like because you get like the mainstream people who listen to like the more mainstream band, right?
Yep.
That the t-shirt is still fully black, and they're used to push mosh. And then you have the hardcore kids that have been expecting hate creeps for years ever, and then they want to do the hardcore dancing. So that
it was a clash.
Over 30 fights were counted that night, I believe. I'm not sure.
Everyone had like grass marbles and shit.
In an amphi.
I heard a few stories about it.
A lot of fights. A lot of fights.
I heard
a lot of people almost kicked out. It was the one time also that in local shows on the like actual shows of the scene, the local hardcore metal scene, you might not like someone. People had like their whatever enemies and shit. In that show, it was everyone from the scene versus everyone who doesn't really regularly go to the show.
Yeah, it was metal kids and this was hardcore kids, basically.
Even the metal kids that were regulars were like siding with the hardcore kids because they were familiar faces.
Yeah, they were each other.
Yeah, versus everybody who like barely show their face on a show or even on a concert.
And I think you guys got a good point because at least now, with the local scene here in Puerto Rico, there's a lot of mixes between thrash metal bands like Fulminator and Cold Times of the new generation now, and they do mix a lot. You know, they come up and play. You know, it's been very different. Maybe like we were talking before the interview, like everything has toned down. It's been more compliant and just enjoy the music. There's some kids and some guys that don't like the thrasher kids push moshing, and there's the ones that love to dance. So you know, it's still there. It's just maybe not as big or that as hard as you guys' generation or when you guys were, for those type of shows. So, you know, I think it's the influence, man, like how everything has been toned down. I wanted to find out what got you guys to play again. What inspired you? What was it that say, hey, let's go for it?
This is funny. This is funny. Go back to Thrasher.
After 17 years, it was Thrasher that got you.
Check this out. So, how it went, we went to see Ocean, like we were out to see in Tampa.
Yeah.
And shout out to Ocean, by the way. He saved us yesterday.
Yes.
He got a big time. We went to see Dave finish playing, and we go to eat. Like, we sit down, and we're talking. I'm like, why the hell we broke up?
I want to ask that too.
What happened? And We were what? When we worked out 2007, we're like 20.
2007.
So whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why don't we do it again? That's also
And it's
playing out.
too bad.
Look,
And it's too
look
bad.
where he's at.
It's too bad. It's been tried.
I need this. Like I need
A reason for
Worth mentioning.
yes.
Since we broke up, maybe a year, 2 years later, he already started something to come on, let's do it again. Let's record something. Let's do it again. Let's do it. And that kept on going all the way to this past year.
Yeah.
Then Thrasher and then I think Noel were planning the show. And Thrasher asked him,
They called
will you try getting Convicted back together?
like 2 days later. Now we talk about it, and I'm like, dude, let's do it. Let's just do it.
Yeah, he calls me, and the thing is that I had just recently started dating Marco. We're a couple, and it used to be in a band in Serbia. He was a vocalist, and he was in a band. He's a bass player and vocalist for another band in Tampa. And when he was like, let's get back to it, I was like, Marco's a bass player. Like, I'm not even gonna ask him. He's just a bass player.
And I had someone in mind already to play drums.
Because it goes back to one of the reasons why we broke up. The drummer, even though he does genuinely like metal and extreme music, him as a drummer, he always used Convicted. He didn't see it as something that could be something serious or could become something bigger. Yeah. He always was making comments about like how he wanted to play real music in jazz or something. Oh, the real money is in doing cover bands and stuff like that. And it was a little bit discouraging.
yeah.
And the bass player, we feel like he was just
Just to be in a band.
yeah, he was just like happy to be there, you know. But if we wanted, like, we were looking for some kind of commitment and whatnot, it was not. We were not gonna fight it from him.
Yeah.
And then me personally, I started my career as a tattoo artist back then, and I had no money, so I sold my equipment, my guitar equipment, to get tattoo equipment, and that's what basically I left. And then after that, that's what because I was already having this project with other people, and then the other two didn't care to
We had just something with Hurts, and then you quit. And then
But I was in both. I sold the
Yeah,
equipment.
you were in both.
Yeah.
I sold the equipment and you quit, and then that lasted like 2 more months, and I broke up the band.
Yeah.
I took like a 2-year break, and then
Because without me and you,
Because
the drummer and the bass player, they were not going to continue playing metal. They were like, okay, the one metal thing we were doing is done, then let's continue to do something.
Yeah. So I hear that Marcos, you're from Serbia, is that correct?
Yes.
Tell me a little bit of that story. How do you end up with a bunch of Puerto Ricans playing? Let's talk about that.
By inclusion, right? So I came to the States in 2015 to Florida, and I was there for a while, and I was always looking for a band to continue, like, because I was in a band in Serbia for 10 years called Lion Chapter. We were doing metalcore, we were playing all over the place, and I decided to move, and I got here, so then I started looking, and I ended up in another band as well, Kyoto, where I play the bass and do the vocals, and then we met, and we started talking about it, and I had like the equipment in the studio, and like, okay, we have all the pieces kind of fit,
Yeah.
and let's go in a band, and that's pretty much the story, like, and there's a lot of similarities like between the Serbian hardcore metal scene and all the stories that are kind of, we have the same thing like kind of going on in that scene. We had a band like back then that we looked up to, and that kind of got us under their wing and kind of pushed us and promoted us, and that's how we started doing, and the moshing and the people are rowdy also in Europe, like it goes crazy over there. So, and mentality, I don't know, I connected with mentality, like it's Serbian mentality and Puerto Rican mentality is kind of very similar.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
We're mentioning this is all possible because of him. Because he is the one with the recording equipment in his house that we use to record, like at least guitars, bass, and vocals. The drums were.
Yeah, definitely.
That's excellent.
And I heard that last release you guys, and man, that sounds like that's really fucking good. Like I enjoyed it the whole way. Like that's awesome, man. And I'm glad that seeing how music does join people, and surprisingly from Serbia all the way to Puerto Rico, only because of music. So that's pretty cool. I know you guys' show is coming up tomorrow. How do you guys feel? What are you expecting? What is your, what is it that you mostly want out of?
I don't even know what to expect.
That's
Dude,
what I'm
it's,
saying.
ever since Treasure called me to basically try to bring us back together and play that show, it's been like a loop in my head. Imagine how is it gonna go? I cannot tell you how am I gonna feel when I get up on stage and we're like, now is the time. Like it's just for me it's unreal because it's been 17 years I've been on stage with him. So it's like we were kids back in the day, and then hey, I don't know that probably in 17 years we're gonna be back. So it's just insane. Like for me, it's like I don't have words.
Yeah, one thing that I feel like it's gonna. I'm curious to see how it plays out. Is one of the things back then that I feel contributed to people not really connecting with our vision that we had as a band and whatnot. Was another thing that I mentioned about people being like having enemies in the scene, people not getting along with other people. Now we're all adults. Now we're all grown-ups. We have left all that shit behind, and everybody's friends with each other.
Yeah.
And we're gonna play in a show, and there's gonna be people in the crowd that probably, like, we were not friends with back then, that now we are. And now we are just adults that are just, like, have no time for bullshit drama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's gonna shift the dynamic and hopefully for the good.
I think it's a good way to see it too, how people change, right? How music changed, how the scene changes, people do change. So, having that connection again back to maybe your enemy, now you can be your friends and say, hey, we're sorry. Maybe someone comes up tomorrow and says, sorry, hey, doesn't this happen?
It has happened throughout the years.
That's
Yeah,
what
that's
that's the thing. You're
Like-
surprised, right?
Like, not just like people like coming out to love, but also going to people.
Definitely,
And
definitely.
actually
Yeah.
making peace with them. Because part of growth is recognizing that you're not always right. And we were fucking kids, man. 17, 18 when we started, 20 when we finished. So definitely it's one of the things, actually, that one of the influence that we take from Remember It Never. They're one of the bands that always has a message. All their songs have one message, and one of their messages is growing as a person.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing we try to do, and I believe we're not quite there yet, because it's a journey all the way to the fucking end, but it's something that we try to actually do to better ourselves and as people and in the music too.
Definitely. And I do agree with that. And, hopefully when you guys' show comes up, everything comes out great. I do, see that. I want to be one of those spectators tomorrow. I want to see that because I've heard a lot of stories. I heard too many stories. And, I want to see this happen. So I'm hopefully, everything comes out great tomorrow. Hope to see you guys. What do you guys have for, the younger generation? Maybe my generation that want to make a band or do something. Lesson learned. What do you think, something that you give them?
Like Ocean says, no se quiten. Don't quit.
Yeah.
But that resonates me like with me all the time. I'm like, I hear when he posts something, no se quiten, and I'm like, that, just don't quit. Like, if you have love for something, don't quit. If you do it for fun, do it right. It's just,
You can do something for fun and still do it passionately.
yeah.
It doesn't mean that you're gonna make all your life based on it, but you can still make it work even if it is something that is not the main thing in your life.
Definitely.
And it requires, like the policy also in itself said, like try to be like the laziest person in the band, yet still putting all your energy, and most energy you can put into it.
Yeah.
Because if it is well done, eventually, sooner or later,
It pays off.
yeah, for whatever reason.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, like even if something happens and we only play the show from tomorrow, it is a big moment for us.
Yeah, it creates memories.
It's
It's
fulfilling as
just
hell.
making memories like nonstop. So
Yeah, it is. That's a cool part of everything, right? Creating memories. Like, I always think about this when I talk to other guys. And I was like, you know what? One day I'm gonna get old. Probably my boss will be dangling down all the way to the floor or something. But I have memories about, hey, I did this and that. I went around the world. I flew everywhere and see bands. Enjoy music, and are creating music. And I think that's a good way to see it, and as a positive way too. I'm not giving up on your dreams and something you love for. So, any future plans? What do you guys got? I know you got the Florida. We mentioned at the beginning of the interview, Florida show. Anything else from there? CDs, releases, anything else?
we might go back and
We are already writing more stuff. Yeah, when we will release it, we don't know, because I would like for us to like try part of it, write it with all of us in a room.
Yeah.
Because Victor is in New Jersey, so we
Yeah,
do a
yeah.
lot of, oh, listen to this riff, send it to him.
Yeah.
This is a BPM that we would like it. Oh, we recorded some idea on the drums. Can you base it on this or whatnot? We want to do a bit of it with him in the room.
Definitely.
It can be a quicker back and forth, and get the creative juices flowing collectively.
Definitely, I think it's the best way to take it too, all together at the same time, you know. But I'm glad that that's coming up. I'm hoping for, you know, we got a show for Florida, que se llene, que la partan, que rompa todo lo que tengan que romper, aunque sea por una cabeza adicional. I want you guys to enjoy that. You know, I just wanted to say that I appreciate, I think, you know, pretty short for the interview, not too long. Any guys who want to say something else? Victor, yo sé que estás calladito.
Saludos a alguien.
No, I've always said it.
Pero yo, I think we're good with this. If anything else want to say, we're good. Everything good?
Good.
All right, then. Well, I think we were short with this interview. Thank you guys. I appreciate it a whole lot. Tomorrow vamos a estar para allá. No sé qué le cortar ahí. Sí, ya terminamos.
Saluda a Tato, el grubero que me ayudó ahorita.
Ahí va.
Tato, te espero un pollo tropical hoy.
Saludos aquí está en Olmeda.
Este cabrón.
Miss you, bro.
Dale, vamos a estar ready. Si ustedes tienen videos, fotos de ustedes cuando están